Man, what a game. Before we get into this after game review, make sure you're at patreon.com/topbillin for the full unedited videos. I do not own YouTube. They content ID claim the hell out of these after game reviews, which has been said ad nauseum for the past 4 seasons. So anybody who does not understand what that means you're brand new. You're not even new, you're brand new, because we've already gone through this now for 4 seasons. They content ID claim and I have to remove what's claimed. That's why the videos are so choppy. But that does not exist on patreon.com/topbillin. If you thought the Seattle Seahawks were frauding, there's no way you believe that after seeing them go into LA and push the Rams to the brink. I mean, we're talking about a 61-yard attempt for the Rams to hold on for dear life, because the Seattle Seahawks had them in the jaws, right? In the jaws of life as far as that defense on the Rams offense, right? Now, the Rams defense was something serious as well. And I will say this, right? Remember, I'm a neutral observer here. When I'm behind this microphone, I am a professional analyst. There was a reason why I never wanted to talk about who I was a fan of and all that shit like that for pretty much the first 10 years of my career, because I only wanted people to concentrate on what I'm saying and know that it's coming from a neutral standpoint. Being as though I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, people still have to bring that shit up, right? Despite nobody knowing that shit really, right, until pretty recent, right? With that being said, I think the Seattle Seahawks and the LA Rams have a chance to advance to the Super Bowl. I think both of these teams are good as shit, right? And that game was epic to me. You talking about forcing someone like Yosemite Sam Darnold to gunsling his ass into 4 interceptions. And, man, it obviously could have been even worse than that, right? But on the same token, having the Seattle Seahawks defense stand up to a very hot Matthew Stafford and Los Angeles Rams offense, to where this game came down to a 61-yard attempt for them to hold on, like I said before. Hey, man, there's not much. You have to give both these teams credit for being very well-coached teams. And I know a team like the Seattle Seahawks won't have a day like that on offense again. And, of course, the Rams will continue to trek on. Super talented on both sides of the ball. Both of those teams, both of those defensive fronts really show you what having a championship defense can do for you. Yeah, I definitely can't wait for the rematch of this drawing, right, in Seattle. And they very well could find themselves in the NFC Championship game, right? The fan in me, though, says that shit don't matter because the Eagles are winning the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's not going to happen. But as a neutral observer, they very well, either one of these teams could very well beat the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Same thing with the Detroit Lions, who we see here in very short order here, go against the Philadelphia Eagles. So, man, that could be the 4 best teams in the NFC all playing. And that shit is incredible.
What more can I say?
Top Billin. On the Patreon, I do exclusive Patreon content that won't see the light of the day on YouTube. Or if it does see the light of the day on YouTube, it'll just be a preview. And one of those items last week, actually this week, I talked about the Sam Darnold interceptions. I reviewed those, and those weren't his fault. Every one of these today was his fault, right? He was seeing ghosts. He was being way too much of a gunslinger. This was that New York Jets Sam Darnold, right? Even with that being said, though, Seattle was right there to still win this shit. That's what makes them scary in my eyes there. But you can sort of blame the pressure on this one, but sometimes you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. There was a couple of instances in this game where they just did not pick up these stunts. And you would think he has to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, which he does here, but why leave your feet here, right? Leave your feet. That's always a funny one, right? Why leave the ground? But we know what we mean, like in sports term of leaving your feet there. You don't actually leave your feet, but you get what I'm saying here. Come on, you can't get anything on this throw right here with no way to torque your body or anything, or to be accurate by putting your foot in the ground and driving on that shit. Come on, man. That's a bad decision. That's a bad drawing, as we say out here in Philly. Look at this right here, right? Slanting on this bad boy, Lucas right here. obviously normally solid, right? To me, the best lineman on the team, right? He's washing his drawing down. We see him washing right here. Then you get y'all's old boy, Poona Ford, who I always thought was a pretty good player. Poona Ford coming around the mountain when he comes right here, gets that vertical pressure with Abraham Lucas not even responding. Anthony Bradford had one like this as well, where it was clearly his fault. But Sam Darnold does get out of it. But, man, at the very least, you got out of it. Just fold it, man. Just fold it right here. Think about it. You're already on the 40-yard line. Man, just take the sack. You know what I mean? Take the sack. You climbed up in the pocket enough to where if you take the sack, it won't be that bad. Nope. Jumps in the air, throws that bad boy. But even the original decision coming out here on the pull, right? You'll see Jackson Smith and Jigba. If you're looking at this and this is your one, right? If you're reading like that, right? Is 1, 2, right? To get that doing right there, you would come out of that and be thinking, all right, we're 1, 2 with that shit, right? I see nobody here. It's nothing but airspace and opportunity. And I know Jackson Smith and Jigba is running a corner route. I can let that bad boy fly, which normally seems like he would do because he's definitely locked in on Smith and Jigba because that bull is the truth. Right? Doesn't like what he sees from Cooper Kupp here. They can possibly dig down on that right there, but I don't think so. I think he could have got rid of the ball extremely quick. But it's looking like I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about this shit right here. But Jackson Smith and Jigba, if you were to let him in the corner right here, this is a pretty easy completion. But it's easy to say that after the fact. I don't like to do in the hindsight shit. At the very least, man, just take the sack. Don't jump in the air and throw some bullshit like that. That's terrible. I was very perplexed when I saw Tom Brady was doing the Bears-Vikings game. I thought that they would do the game of the week, which would be this one, because I knew who would do the damn game if it wasn't Tom Brady, and that would be annoying-ass Greg Olsen, right? Greg Olsen just loves to hear himself talk. And in plays like this, right, he kind of was blaming Oluwatimi right here, right? He said that Oluwatimi was getting lapped, when in actuality right here, right, this is pretty good. This is pretty good enough for you to not turn the ball over, right? Slide in the pocket, you just make a better decision. Like, you're not really in a hurry to have to even throw this when you did throw it, but you telegraphed this shit because you're eyeing Cooper Kupp the whole way, and then, boom, they're able to jump that joint. So, look at this. Back to the basket, play action fake. He immediately goes over here, right? Now, let's just say right now when he detaches from the pocket, if you want to say something about the Oluwatimi pass pro right here, detach from the pocket and reset. You've stared at this way too long, right? You're just bringing people over there. Now, to Cooper Kupp, like if this wasn't a good play by the defensive back here, maybe he does complete this to Cooper Kupp, right? Because Cooper got him bodied out right there, But come on, you telegraphed that shit, right? That shit has nothing to do with no Oluwatimi on that play, man. Greg Olsen be drawn. Actually, here's a better angle right here. You can see Oluwatimi, right, eventually sink that drawn, and then, watch this, right? The defender died. Bang. He got fertilized on his chest. Look, bang. Sam Darnold wasn't in danger of anything. He could have reset. And there's man coverage here. He could have reset, ran with it a little bit. Maybe he would have got it to Kenneth Walker on some type of detach. He didn't have to do this. Now, here's another one where Greg Olsen, I don't know what the hell he was talking about. He said that Sam Darnold was looking for Elijah Arroyo to cross face on the safety. That would be cool if this were zone. This is man coverage. So you have this man running, trying to cross face here, which sounds good, but you got a defender running right with his ass. You know what I'm saying? Right? So if he's able to get some type of inside leverage and not allow for that to happen, how can you just automatically go there? You want him to cross the face of the safety. You don't know how that's just going to go when somebody's in man coverage like that. That man pretty much ran that route with him, and look at that. You're trying to beat him to the inside. That was just all the way. That was really good defense by that defender right there on Arroyo. That's just a poor decision, right? Really didn't have to happen. Really didn't have to happen at all, right? Coming out of that right there, you see him staring this down the whole time, right? And you know there's going to be two defenders there. Is it bad pass pro? I mean, if you try to say something about Olu Wutimi before, your man right here is really having to sink those mugs in because Abraham Lucas right here getting bent over something serious right here. Whoa. The Exorcist joint right here. But other than that, man, shit really kind of holding up. I would think that this would be a clean pocket. If anything, I would come off of that if I'm Sam Darnold right here, step through, and then shoot this bad boy right here to Kenneth Walker, who is held on wheels after the catch with a poor decision. Here's the Anthony Bradford one that I was talking about earlier. Watch this right here. He needed to come off that quickly, right? Once you send that inside, and you know you have a little bit of help right here for Charbonnet, who's going to be assisting if it's necessary right there. You have to quickly redirect your eyes, right? Come right here. Look at it. He's heavy-legged, waist-bended and everything right there. You know Abraham Lucas will have that if it's going that far over. And with Charbonnet with the help, you redirect here. You do not leave Sam Darnold out to dry, but Sam Darnold still threw this shit and when he could see the cornerback's eyes, regardless, right? So you can say he had to put a ripcord or whatever like that, but come on, Durant is right there in great position to intercept. All right, real quick, you've had some bad fans come through, start talking about the previous quarterback when Sam Darnold is having success. I think that's a little short-sighted. You can't compare 3 seasons from someone to 8 games from someone else, right? Let alone you need to just move on. Focus that energy on who's currently playing on your team. Stop coming here talking about the previous quarterback. You saw I nicknamed Russell Wilson, the artist formerly known as, so you guys could move on. And I have not done anything on Geno Smith because Sam Darnold is the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, and I cover the Seattle Seahawks. So y'all should focus your energy on that. So now some of you people look dumb, right, because you don't have the whole story, and Sam Darnold had his worst game as I've seen. But that doesn't mean that he's terrible or anything like that. This was a bad game. I'm pretty sure he'll bounce back. Shaheed has shot speed. Look at this right here, right? Matter of fact, let's go and see what Shaheed was doing off the jump right here, right? On manual force, he was on everybody. Crossover right there, and instantly it's a wrap, right? If it's even, he's definitely leaving for sure. He's going to get, even Emmanuel Forbes, not slow at all, but listen, you're not even touching him and you're already looking. That's bad right there, but severely underthrown in my opinion. And Goofy Greg Olsen said some, I don't know what the hell he was talking about. He said Shaheed slowed up or something like that. What the hell does Shaheed got to do with anything? He had to slow up because the ball is underthrown. Only thing should be talked about is the ball being underthrown, right? He's going to stay ahead of Forbes, right? And just like, I beat him, coach. You saw that, coach. I beat him. And they're like, well, Shaheed, you was 9 yards ahead of the ball. Come on, man. Y'all got to get Greg Olsen up off the TV, man. He was definitely making me. I was 1 millisecond away from having to turn the sound off and hearing his annoying-ass voice. Ma in Jigba. It's like every game, boy, does something look easy. And we're talking about deep shit as well, right? No deep fakes right here. Everybody thinks you have to be some kind of freakish athlete to be able to get down the field when, hey, it's about knowing how to run routes. Look at that, like Medusa. Look at him staring right in the dude's eyes right here, right? Right in the dude's eyes. It's like, what? Pretty turning and locate. My man actually does a good job turning and locate as well. That's why when you're playing really good D, you force somebody to make a really good play because he's not in bad position right here. A little bit of this at the end, right? You're going to get the benefit of the doubt when you're Jackson Smith and Jigba and you've been housing people all season. Look at that. And then you Spider-Man that joint right there. Somebody put that on a damn poster. What the heck are we doing here, man? Jackson Smith and Jigba, everything I've been trying to tell people since I've seen this boy, man. What a player. Man, perhaps very best doing it. This is why it's hard for me to say that you're anything but decent. If I feel like your team tries to hide you in zone, they move you away from the best players, have somebody else do the dirty work like guarding Devontae Adams one-on-one and shadowing him. Think about that. Tariq Woolen having to go against Devontae Adams, degree of difficulty, a 12 out of 10. He's being thrown to by Matthew Stafford. So the whole setup alone, right, it leaves you on an island. And look at this. This is good through the man, right, through the hands right there. Go back on this right here, being patient, right, patient. Let Adams declare. After he declares, then you know it's on, right? So he's declaring, look at that. He gets a pretty decent amount of separation. Great job by Woolen not caring about looking back at Stafford, But knowing that this ball is coming to him, and hey, if you can locate the hands, you can play the ball on the way to the hands. Look at that. Bang. It hits him right in the back of the forearm. Good. And the same dude. Same exact situation. This time, he freezes you something serious, makes you whiff, and then it's a touchdown. Probably what they should have did the first time, right? Adams is definitely, right, definitely on when it comes to getting you up out of your shoes, right? A 50-50 exchange situation, right, with a two-way go right here. Faking like it could be back to that fade, but nope. Right on the inside, then this time my man has the grab, right? What I say, you play cornerback with your feet, not with your hands right there. You were better off getting into motion. What you going to do, stop Davante Adams by sticking a hand out there? Nah, you needed to be able to react with your feet. That's why it's a tough gig, man. If you have to put 100% of your stats against somebody like Davante Adams, but then you get somebody else that people say are good, and they have to guard somebody probably working at Chuck E. Cheese's, donuts, and tires. Come on, man. I feel bad for people who have to guard Davante Adams and these superstar receivers one-on-one 100% of the time, or at least a great deal of the time. Man, how do you stop a route like this, right? This is an out route. We can see right here from a reduced split, and look at him get vert, then turn it on a dime and work back, right? Almost like a comeback route with an out route, right? They give him a lot of fluidity with a lot of these routes these days. It's hard to even say what it really is because they just want you to get to a spot however you want, right? Look at him. Very in the rhythm. Look at that. Jogging it off. Then bang. He starts to explode. But look at this. Boom. All right, look at the angle variation right here. Presses it vert a little bit, then gets back into the out portion right there, and then gives him a little, it's a little love tap right there, and then works back towards the ball, and look at the separation right here, right? Come on, man. Dr. Fauci is definitely heavily excited about separation and social distancing like that. Come on, man. What are we doing here? Once again, Mike McDonald in his bag with his passive-aggressive blitz schemes, right? Passive-aggressive in the fact that it looks like 100 men are about to come, but it usually boils down to just 4 men. That's why I wonder if they're counting that. I think I said that on the Patreon. Does it really count if you're still only sending 4? I would think it would count, right, if you're sending people who are not organically supposed to rush the passer, like people from the second level, one being here, Ernest Jones, and then Drake Thomas contacts the center, but then it looks like he just plays kind of a spy. Right? You get Ernest Jones, who does some strange shit, right? I don't think I've ever seen it, but I like it, right? He kind of bumps off and get a little bit of a Stafford pull the ripcord here and just throw that shit, right? He had enough time where if he could have stepped into this, it was going to be kind of, it could have been definitely, obviously it's Davante Adams, so it should have been a completion, but throwing it behind him like that, right, made him have to make kind of a tough catch that he couldn't make there, but I really love this right here. Ernest Jones looked like he forgot what he's supposed to be doing right here, but he's the hammer in the situation, and you got the nail coming through right here through that empty-ass hollow drywall. Leonard Williams coming at you like this with Kyron Williams being still brought out even wider to get Ernest Jones on a blitz pickup. Your little T-Rex, he didn't even want to step into it or nothing. He's like, oh, fuck, oh, no. And he still got lit up. Damn, he should have went in and just stepped into it then. Look, all arm, just rotating his hips and shit like that so he can kind of protect himself. And bang, head on the outside, old man Stafford, splack a tire. Nice work by McDonald. Man, I hope your man Gray Zabel is fine, but damn, look at Charles Cross right here, man. He's legitimately getting bench pressed and getting thrown for a horizontal first down. How you go this far? Look at, he's way on the other side over there, right? He turned right tackle in the middle of the game. He's like, you know what? I'm going to be a right tackle now. They fly and flash his ass way the hell up over there, right? He's getting sky miles. And then right into Gray Zabel right there. That looked pretty bad, but, hopefully he's okay. Damn, that's a tough one. Good work right here on this zone play. By the duo right here of Cup and Barner. You see both of these guys really crease are drawn. Look it out. Yeah, man, with the let's look at everybody right here. Boom. Good double right here. Charles Cross leading up here. You can see it really starting to take shape right here. Really starting to take shape and effect. We know Cooper Kupp, one of the best, do it. Cooper Kupp can block his ass off. And then A.J. Barner doing the damn thing as well right here. Like, boom. crease him off. Look at that. The fact that Cupper's able to stay on this block, right, and allow this man, without holding, to be able to crease this. This is some good shit. Watch this. Cup stand on the block. And on the block right here. My man's not even trying to get off the block, right? He's like an old head out here in Philly. When they're able to keep it pressing it play side like that too, man. That really looks good. I like the cutback zone. I like zone running, right? I used to really hate this shit. Now I've definitely come to appreciate some zone running schemes. Ever since your man Kobe Bryant was a rookie, he's been forcing some serious turnovers. Him and that peanut punch for sure. Your man Puka Nakua definitely, right, running smiling and shit like that, right? Not knowing what's coming. Definitely should have the ball in the other arm. It could protect from some shit like this. But you got the ball where Kobe Bryant can see that shit, it doesn't matter, right? My man took one to the kidney too. Watch this. Bang! Right there. Look at that. His shit for a second there. Man, I don't know. I saw a different angle. It looked like his eyes were egg whites. He was done. Bang. Colon blow right there. He shit it all up in his drawers. Of course, you're going to need the woolite and everything. You can see him grimacing and shit right there, right? When you get that rush to your colon, right? You will hold some other brown stuff was coming out right there. With the peanut punch, Kobe Bryant still doing that shit, boy. That Mama Jummer right there. All right, we're going to call it right there. I have a lot of stuff to get to as far as the All 22 goes, so make sure on patreon.com/topbillin so you can view the All 22 reviews in addition to the after-game reviews. So I'll say it again. I remain impressed by the Seattle Seahawks. Remember, everybody said this team was going to suck, so keep everything in perspective. You guys always get too big for your britches. Before the season, people were saying that I was nuts. I was this and that by saying that the Seattle Seahawks and comparing them to the Atlanta Falcons, that it reminded me of when I covered that team in that second season under Dan Quinn and they got to the Super Bowl. Seattle reminds me very much of that. I knew this defense was going to be that good this season, and I knew Sam Darnold had a chance to be very good in a Clint Kubiak scheme. So he'll bounce back. You guys should be good. I still need to get that run game a little bit more consistent. It's been better, but I think it can still be a little bit better and a little bit more consistent. But the fact that they still lean on it, I can dig for sure. Even if it's not working like you would want it to work, you still have to respect it. So all in all, though, damn, the Seattle Seahawks and the LA Rams made themselves a classic. I can't wait for the next round, round two with these two teams. That should be pretty good. But from the Seattle Seahawks perspective, man, you guys should keep your head up because your team is damn good. All right. With that being said, much love to all my top billing villains out there. Big salute to all my patrons as well. Tapping in with your boy. Salute.
What more can I say?
Top billing.